Hey, it's Jeremy Johnson Jean Jacket Jr. My pronouns are Black Lives Matter more than me, and I'm excited to bring you our new hashtag PoorForPutin. Recent polling and scientific studies have proven that the best way to fight the Kremlin is to get poor for Putin. Just be poor. It's easy. Question. How many masks should I wear when I'm collapsing into poverty? 1 or 2? Well, N95 masks are preferred, but if you can't get your hands on one, I would say, 1 or 2. You actually burn less fossil fuels when you don't own anything and you're homeless. Not being able to pay for your apartment is the new being able to pay for your apartment. Just get poor. Shut up. I mean, unless you work for the Kremlin or something. Do you not want to get poor to fight Putin? Okay, thank you. I'm working to get these printed out of China to be 2 Ukrainian flags. Then shut the f*** up. What, have you been watching Tucker Carlson? My gosh. I know we're just censoring Russia on YouTube, but we really need to censor people like you. Anyway, some buffoons say taxes are too high. I say they're not high enough. Raise the taxes on the billionaire class. I say raise them on the middle class, raise them on small businesses, lower class. Heck, I'd even prefer if they made theft on homeless people legal. As long as you took whatever you stole from them and gave it to the federal government, why not? Poor for Putin. Everyone has to do their part. If you think you're struggling, struggle harder.
The price of meat's getting pretty high. Should I be concerned?
That's a good thing. We want the meat prices to go through the roof. This way people will start eating vegan.
Yeah, but the price of vegan food's also getting pretty high.
Shut the f*** up. How many Kremlin-planted alt-right conspiracies are you going to talk about? Seriously, you're starting to creep me out. We're also calling on all bars, nightclubs, and restaurants to play their part. Moscow Mule is totally outdated and offensive. We're asking you to change your drink to something more LGBTQ and foreign policy friendly. Something like, Kiev kangaroos, Ukrainian ukuleles, or just the Ellen Degeneres, that's fine. We must defeat the Russian invasion by being poor. Inflation and higher gas prices really just prove you're winning the war. So I'm having a huge crisis. I only have one character left in my profile title. Should I put a Ukrainian flag or an LGBT flag? As long as your net worth and 401k are plummeting, doesn't really matter. That's the beauty of Poor for Putin. Okay, thanks. I was just making sure. Poor for Putin. Smells like Kremlin in here, if you know what I mean. Seems like a few things that the president of Ukraine has said has been debunked as misinformation. Should I just pretend that I don't notice that or it's not important to me? Should I just shut the f*** up? No. I promise I'm one of you. I mean, look at my mustache to beard ratio. Sorry. I didn't mean to get that upset there. That's very uncharacteristic for Jeremy Johnson Jean Jacket Jr. or even Jeremy Johnson Jean Jacket Sr. or my father's father, Jeremy Johnson Jean Jacket Sr. Anyway, thank goodness. Thank you. I won't say it again. I won't ask any more questions, I promise. Yeah, podcasts are bad. Yeah, for sure. I'll watch CNN, I promise. That's better. Get poor for Putin. It's the only way to win the war. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia's been moving away from communism while America and the West has been moving towards communism, which is just even more reason to get poor to defeat Putin. The only way to really stop authoritarianism and the lack of freedom is to be authoritarian and beg for your freedoms to get stolen, as long as you're getting poor. For Putin, Jeremy Johnson Jean Jacket Jr. If we can get over 1 million uses of the hashtag Poor for Putin, I've been told that several television networks to celebrate will air Rocky IV with Vladimir Putin's head photoshopped on Ivan Drago. But while you're watching and enjoying that, just make sure to keep checking the NASDAQ and the value of the US dollar to make sure that you're still getting poor to fight Putin while having fun. I wouldn't want you not to be poor while enjoying it. I have a Russian friend. Can I still hang out with them? I mean, I guess technically as long as they have a Ukrainian flag in their profile picture and you're slipping into poverty, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Of course inflation and gas prices rising are a good thing. What are you, some sort of right-wing conspiracy theorist lunatic? Why wouldn't you want the prices to go up? That sounds like a Donald Trump talking point. Are you listening to Joe Rogan's podcast or something? Oh, I don't want to be poor. I think it might be a bad thing. Oh my gosh, you gas-guzzling son of a bitch. Sorry about that. That's very uncharacteristic. Common sense, critical thinking, logic, reason, and Jesus Christ are all Russian assets, which is why we're removing them from American schools. They're going to be replaced with the liberal democratic studies of LGBTQ courses, why poverty's good and why capitalism is bad class, forced masking, forced lockdowns, forced inoculations, human spacing, social distancing, and machine learning. And in these new schools, we don't care what gender you are, as long as you're getting poor. Don't you realize that the people who don't want to be poor think Joe Biden's a bad president? Can you believe those conspiracy theorists? He's smart, he's dedicated to his job. I mean, he's totally mentally there. Have you ever seen somebody more present? I mean, am I looking at Joe Biden or the Dalai Lama, am I right? The dude's like a Buddhist monk. He's just there. He's on it. He should do Jeopardy. I'm sure he'd win like 1,000 weeks in a row and they'd have to shut down the show. I've almost memorized all the fact checks. Joe Biden is doing what's good for the country. And if you disagree, go over there with the Trump supporters. My gosh. But if you're dedicated to making America better, you need to get poor for Putin. Inflation is a right-wing conspiracy theory. It doesn't exist. Until it does exist, and we admit it exists, then we're gonna say it's actually a good thing, which is what we're doing here. In many ways, you could say us and the Biden administration are two peas in a pod. Maybe I can be president one day. No. I'll never be as impressive as Joe Biden. It's a tough act to follow. So do your part, #PoorForPutin. And if you want to support further, go to PoorForPutin.com and dump the remaining money that you shouldn't even have in the first place into some God bless hats, t-shirts, long sleeves, sweatshirts, as much as you can really. They're made in the United States, and if you slip into poverty that way, it's not gonna end up in the hands of the Kremlin. It's Jeremy Johnson, Jean Jacket Jr. signing out. I mean, George Takei knows it's your patriotic duty to get poor. What don't you understand? Is this thing off? All right, cut. Where the hell is Don with my private jet? It was supposed to be here 10 minutes ago. I hate waiting around.